Hey, this is Matt. Once again, welcome back to the video. This is another paid request for Jonathan. First off, Jonathan, thank you much. Same with other people. Thank you so much for your generosity. I really appreciate it, man. And for those interested in requesting any type of stuff, tier list review, commentary, re-review, whatever the case may be, PayPal's usually the best bet, or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for the 2011 film Your Highness, which is directed by David Gordon Green. Although I will say I like this a lot more than the horror films he did, the Halloween trilogy, Exorcist Believer. I do think he works better in comedy, because I do like the Pineapple Express, and I do like this one. And I know this one, it came out at Bond Valley, the critics hated it. It seemed like everybody hated it, except me and maybe one or two friends of mine. But I still enjoy the film, watch it again. I do think some things don't work comedic wise. It's not the funniest movie ever. Sometimes the humor and how juvenile it is. There's some misses in terms of the jokes. But I still had a good time with it. I still don't think it's as bad as its reputation. Because it's pretty much David Gordon Green along with Danny McBride, who I think he helped write the film. He stars in the film. And I do like Danny McBride. Honestly, he was the best thing in Alien Covenant. James Franco, despite his issues, I do like him as an actor. Natalie Portman. Yeah, Charles Dance, my sweet brother Numpsy, as the teen. I do like the cast in this. And it's pretty much sort of their ode to 80s fantasy flicks. You got bare gore, you got nudity, you got a lot of vulgar jokes. It's definitely R-rated. And I just see some of the inspirations it takes. Like there's a carriage scene that reminds me a little bit of Willow. There's of course, a labyrinth, like the movie Labyrinth. But there's also others, but not too much to stop and go, look what we're referencing, that type of thing. It's still very much its own movie. Where you have Danny McBride and James Franco. They're two brothers to a kingdom. James Franco is the brother people like, and people pretty sure he's going to be the next king. He goes on quests. He saved a lady and is going to marry her. He's the toast of the town. While Danny McBride is the screw-up brother. I mean, the very first scene, apparently he, with the little people, the midgets, he put a little bit of his head in one of them, and they were pissed, and he's about ready to be hung, but because the little people, it's too small, so when he drops to be hung, he just lands on his feet, and him and his assistant, Courtney, the two of them run off. And I guess it depends how you feel about Danny McBride in this film. Some people may be thinking he's unlikable, he's irritating, I don't care for him. I can understand that, but I did like him in this movie. Maybe because I just like Danny McBride. I liked his demeanor, I liked his line delivery. I think in the hands of someone else, I would have found him very unlikable and very... I mean, he's supposed to be. And then by the end, he grows a little bit as a person. So, to be fair, he is supposed to be that type of character to begin with. But, like I said, I think there's certain lines of dialogue that in the hands of someone else would come off as a bit cringeworthy. But, again, just his demeanor, his line delivery just made it funnier coming from him. Even something as simple as like he's trying to talk his way out of it. Oh, you bloodthirsty little fucker. Or when there's this party in James Franco's honor, and there's this guy kind of giving him shit, and then Danny McBride starts doing this, and it's like, Courtney, isn't it funny that and amazing how he could talk and suck my cock at the same time? Yes, it's very fun. I don't know how else to put it. Just his demeanor just makes it that funnier. While if someone else said that line, I'd be like, oh, whatever, dude. Okay, it's trying very hard to be funny, but being very vulgar, which it is. But I think Danny McBride does that well, just like he did in This Is the End. And he's going on with James Franco about coming over the room, but just how serious he is and how I don't know if I want to say deadpan, but just let's say I thought he has the right demeanor to say those type of lines and get a laugh out of me. And he's purposely playing a character who's a bit of a wussy and he's childish, like James Franco. And I like James Franco in the film. He's very chipper. He loves his brother, despite what his brother does. He's always upbeat. Hey, let's play. Let's sword fight. Ah, shit! You nipped my knuckles. I thought they worked well together, just like in This Is the End. I thought they had a good bond with each other. Evil magician comes, takes James Franco's bride. They're on a quest. They go on the quest. Maybe it takes a bit for it to get going. Watch it again. But, like I said, it has been a long time since I've seen a fantasy film that was R-rated. Like The Sword, the Sorcerer, and those movies back in the day. And I remember watching a making of where those films were referenced. And apparently this is a passion project David Gordon Green had. Like what the 11-year-old version of him wanted to make. And you can see that's the case for better or worse, that it is a film that an 11-year-old would make. I mean, there's a point where Danny McBride, his assistant, and James Franco are in the woods. And they come across a group of naked women who take them prisoner, titties ready to be out. There's some nice pieces of gore during the carriage scene. They're pulling the guy and they actually rip off his scalp. There's a bit where James Franco's fighting and kicks someone and they get impaled, and this big bloody impalement spike goes through the guy's back and through his stomach. There is some CGI, but there are some puppetry and practical effects as well, so I like that there's at least some of it in there. As juvenile as this scene is, I gotta admit I did get a chuckle, because you rarely would ever see this type of thing where they see the wise wizard, which is a puppet, kind of like a Yoda type of puppet, only his head is kind of like a jellyfish. It's glowing, and there's stuff glowing inside it. It's got these kind of whisker tendrils. A nice looking puppet. He almost sounds like the Crypt Keeper. I don't know why. He almost sounds like the Crypt Keeper. Is all give me kisses. And James Franco does it, but then Danny McBride goes, fuck no. And is able to tell how to go along their journey, and this is the map you need. But then Danny McBride kind of gets the idea going that this guy, this puppet, molested James Franco back in the day, and Franco doesn't realize it. Or he does. I guess in order to get more info, they're supposed to jerk it off. Thankfully, we don't see it. And yeah, you didn't need that last bit where they're told what they have to do. They could have cut off 10 seconds before that. Thankfully, you don't see anything. I didn't need this to be a Triple X parody, but it's fucked up and it's weird and it's raunchy, but at the same time, not to the point of you're seeing shit, you're seeing cum, you're seeing and hearing farts and stuff. So it rides that line, and again, not every joke lands, but there's enough that it did give me some chuckles out of it. Or there's a bit where the guy that was fucked with Danny McBride earlier in this party, he's with the group, and you find out that he's working with the bad guy, and they try to grab him, and his clothes get taken off, and he has no dick. And just the way Danny McBride goes, that thing is a dickless traitor. Because there is no, he's committed to it. As ridiculous as it sounds coming out of his mouth, he's committed to the line. Same with, okay, well, he has your bride. You know, what if he does something to her? I will still love her. Okay, let me put it this way. What if he butt fucked her? Would you still like her? And it's not a line I expected, but again, it made me laugh. And some of the ideas I didn't mind. Like the bad guy, when he's talking with his soon-to-be bride, there's these little creatures that are like pixies. He takes one and rips the head off, and then sniffs it like cocaine. I thought that was pretty funny. There's a bit where they battle a creature, granted CGI, but I like the idea that it's a guy put his hand in, so the creature is each of the guy's fingers. Natalie Portman, I forgot how late Natalie Portman comes to the movie. She comes in like, what, an hour into the movie? Maybe a bit less than that, but at least halfway through. Like, it's a while before Natalie Portman comes in. And she is a good actress. And interesting that she takes on a role like this. And she is a strong woman, but it's not the Kathleen Kennedy type of strong women where she's got to be a bitch and she's got to be, you know, better than everybody. Like James Franco holds his own. Danny McBride's able to get a bit of courage. Some other nice practical effects, the Minotaur when they're in the labyrinth. It's a nice looking Minotaur with the eyes and the way it blinks and moves, and we didn't need to see its dick. I thought that was a bit much, although it's to get the joke where after Danny McBride kills it, it needs a trophy, can't lop up its horn, because earlier in the film, James Franco's like, I got this head of this creature, just, you need a trophy, my brother, when you're on a quest and you slay a beast. So he doesn't know what to do, so the next shot reveal is that he has the dick around his throat like a necklace. And yeah, it's kind of like, okay, kind of that reaction from me, like, alright. I will admit the review did get that out of me. I will say I did laugh at the end when the two have grown closer and he's telling Natalie Portman, here, I fucking killed this dick for you. Here you go. It's Dan McBride. Like I said, if this was a different guy, if this was like Rob Schneider, or if this was someone else, I don't think I might not have liked this as much. I would like the aspects of it, but like I said, maybe it just depends on how you feel about Danny McBride. I'm a fan of his, so he definitely helped a lot. The finale gets some nice bloody hits when people get hit with a sword, and or when figures get killed. I wish Danny, even Danny McBride, he gets like a mace or something. He's hitting some people, get some nice bloody hits in there. Nothing too over the top. It's not like people's heads get cleaved and stuff, but some nice bloody hits. Each theater has their own thing to do, whether it be Natalie Portman dealing with these witches or James Franco dealing with some bad guys. It's not a whole lot of fighting the main bad guy. It's mainly of just Danny showing his courage and not being selfish. That's really the main bit at the end. Which I'm a bit surprised. Spoiler alert at the end. I forgot that. I just assumed since this is Danny McBride's story, he'd be killing the main villain. But no, actually James Franco does. Which yes, in essence makes sense since James Franco's more used to it. And I guess maybe they didn't want to go too crazy. He's like, it's Danny McBride. He's not, don't be flipping around being an action hero. And he did kill the Minotaur, so there's that. And he did get the sword. But he got the sword to give it to his brother. Which is makes sense for the brother, you stole my bride. And again, maybe because I like Danny McBride, James Franco, I like those two as actors. The two of them getting to work together. I like their rapport. I thought they worked well as brothers. I did how happy and upbeat one is and how pain in the ass Danny McBride is. And I thought McBride sold his change. Where, is this my brother? Who did not want to be my best man at the wedding? And when Danny says, I did not deserve to be your best man, I bought it. Because his delivery. Oh, another reference. I mentioned, like, there's a carriage scene where, yeah, like, two fight on top of the carriage. That remind me a bit of Willow. I said the labyrinth remind me of the... Not exactly, but, you know, a labyrinth and labyrinth. But there's a mechanical bird named Simon. Of course, that's a reference to Clash of the Titans, which had a mechanical bird. And I just had a fun time. I had a fun time as an 80... Well, I don't want to say like an 80s film because there is CGI in it. And those type of jokes you wouldn't hear in an 80s film in that type of way. So I can't say it's like an 80s fantasy movie. But let's say it was refreshing to see a bit of a bloody, R-rated, some titty going out fantasy film with actors I enjoyed, and just had a good time with it. I thought it was just a good time. To repeat one last time, I don't think all the jokes worked, but there was enough that made it work for me to chuckle and laugh at. And like I said, I know James Franco hates the film. Other people hate the film. I quite enjoyed it. I still liked it to this day. Again, I'm not going to say it's one of my favorite comedies, but in that year, it probably would be in my top 10 of 2011. I don't remember all the films of 2011. I had to look, but I did have a good time with it. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.